What if one quarter in your pocket is worth more than your monthly salary or even a brand new car? Most people spend quarter-dollar coins without ever checking them, but three rare US quarters, because of historic mint years, silver content, and shocking mint errors, have sold for thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars. A tiny detail like a missing mint mark, double design, or rare composition can turn a simple 25-cent coin into a collector's dream. Before you drop another quarter into a vending machine, stop and look closely, because you might already be holding one of the most valuable quarter-dollar coins.
Imagine holding a coin that doesn't just represent 25 cents, but a living symbol of America's 200th birthday. A small round piece of metal that captured the pride, passion, and patriotic spirit of a nation celebrating 2 centuries of independence. This is the story of the 1976 bicentennial quarter, a coin that became far more than change in your pocket. It became a tribute to history, a token of freedom, and a collectible that continues to fascinate generations of Americans and coin collectors around the world today. We dive deep into the incredible story of how this iconic quarter was created, what makes it unique, and why it remains one of the most talked about coins in United States history, from its design process to its mintage and distribution, from the symbolism engraved in its artwork to the hidden details that make certain versions worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. This coin is a masterpiece of American numismatic history. The year was 1976, and the United States was celebrating 200 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence. The nation was alive with pride, parades and commemorations were being held everywhere, and the U.S. Mint wanted to honor this grand moment with something that would last forever. Something every American could hold in their hands. The idea was born to create special circulating coins for the bicentennial of the United States, and not just any coins, but redesigned versions of the quarter. Half-dollar and dollar coins, each carrying symbols that would remind citizens of their freedom, their struggles, and their triumphs. The bicentennial quarter was the most widely used among them since it represented the everyday currency of the nation. The design competition was announced in 1973 when the Treasury Department invited artists and sculptors from across the country to submit designs for the commemorative coin. The goal was to find artwork that perfectly captured the spirit of the American Revolution and the progress of the United States. After reviewing hundreds of entries, the judges selected Jack L.R.'s design for the quarter. His concept showed a colonial drummer facing left, representing the citizen soldiers who fought for independence. Behind the drummer are 13 stars symbolizing the original colonies, and a torch of victory encircled by rays of light. The obverse side retained the familiar portrait of George Washington, originally sculpted by John Flanagan. But with one key change, the date was replaced by a dual inscription reading 1776-1976, marking the nation's bicentennial year. This dual date became a hallmark of the bicentennial coins, and it instantly set them apart from any other quarter. Ever minted, millions of Americans began saving them as keepsakes, from children to grandparents. Everyone wanted a piece of history. The U.S. Mint produced these quarters at 3 facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each mint struck millions of coins, but their compositions and finishes varied. Philadelphia and Denver struck circulation strikes in copper-nickel-clad composition, while San Francisco struck both proof coins and 40% silver collector editions. The silver versions were part of special collector sets that were sold directly to the public in 1975 and 1976. One interesting fact is that no quarters were dated 1975, because all quarters struck in both 1975 and 1976 bore the 1776 to 1976 dual date. This makes it a unique period in U.S. coinage history, during which the standard date format was completely suspended in honor of the nation's 200th anniversary. The mintage numbers were enormous, as demand was high. Over 860 million quarters were struck at the Philadelphia Mint and more than 860 million at the Denver Mint, while the San Francisco Mint produced millions more in proof and silver sets. But even within such a massive production, there are variations and rarities that make certain bicentennial quarters more valuable than others. For example, collectors prize the 1976 silver-proof quarter, which has a mirror-like finish and sharp details because it was struck multiple times on 40% silver planchets. Then there are the Type 1 and Type 2 varieties of the San Francisco issues. The Type 1 has bold, thick lettering, while the Type 2 features refined, thinner lettering and cleaner design details. The Type 2 versions are generally more desirable among collectors, especially. In high grades, the condition of the coin plays a critical role in its value. Coins that were well preserved with no wear, often graded MS65 or higher by professional grading services, can fetch impressive prices, especially if they are silver strikes. Or proofs. Another fascinating aspect of the bicentennial quarter is how it became a cultural symbol of the 1970s. It circulated during a period of renewed national pride as America looked back on 200 years of independence while also facing new challenges such as the aftermath of the Vietnam War and the Watergate scandal. This coin was a unifying emblem, a daily reminder of resilience and the democratic spirit that defined the United States from its birth people across the country. Cherished these coins not only for their monetary value, but for what they represented in their hearts and history books. The production process itself was monumental. The mint began production in 1975 so that the coins could be widely available. By the start of the bicentennial year, each die was carefully prepared to ensure the unique drummer boy design maintained sharpness across millions of strikes. It required extensive testing to balance die life, metal flow, and relief depth, while ensuring mass production quality. The mints used new techniques in die polishing and hubbing to maintain consistency. The result was one of the most successful commemorative coin programs in U.S. history. Even decades later in the 21st century, the 1976 bicentennial quarter remains a favorite among coin collectors worldwide. It stands out not only for its design, but also for its meaning and emotional connection to American heritage. Some people still find them in circulation, but pristine. Examples are usually stored away in private collections or passed down through generations. The silver proofs, especially those that remain sealed in their original government packaging, continue to appreciate in value depending on market demand. Silver content and rarity. Another reason for the ongoing fascination is the artistry behind Jack R's design. He managed to combine simplicity with power. The drummer boy's determined face, the detailed uniform, and the symbolic torch all merge to convey courage, unity, and hope. This coin was never about the past alone. It was a reflection of America's endurance and optimism as it entered its third century. R himself once said that his design aimed to remind people that independence was achieved through ordinary citizens who took extraordinary action. That message resonates deeply even today. Whenever you hold a bicentennial quarter, you hold a tribute to those who made freedom possible as coin collecting evolved with technology, grading, and digital trading platforms. The 1976 quarter found new life in the online numismatic community. Collectors began sharing discoveries of double die errors off center strikes and planchet variations that made certain coins especially valuable. Some error coins have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on rarity and condition. Examples include quarters struck on nickel planchets, coins with missing clad layers or double-struck details. These unique minting anomalies add excitement to the pursuit of finding rare varieties hidden among the millions of bicentennial coins still in existence. The bicentennial quarter's enduring popularity also stems from its educational and nostalgic appeal for new collectors. It serves as an entry point into the fascinating world of American coinage, and for older generations it represents a tangible memory of the nation's 200th birthday celebration, a time of parades, fireworks, and unity. This blend of history, art, and emotion is what makes the 1976 quarter timeless. It's not just a collectible, it's a story of national pride and craftsmanship, minted into metal from the initial design competition to the final distribution. Every stage of this coin's creation was infused with meaning and national pride. The bicentennial coinage program was a monumental success, inspiring future commemorative issues such as the state quarters program decades later. But none quite captured the same universal appeal. As the drummer boy quarter did in 1976, its resonance with the American public remains unmatched. So when you look at the 1976 bicentennial quarter, remember that it's more than just a coin. It's a celebration of a nation's journey from revolution to modern democracy, a lasting symbol of freedom, creativity, and unity. A coin that turned 200 years of history into something that fits in the palm of your hand and continues to inspire curiosity, wonder, and pride nearly 50 years later. The 1976 bicentennial quarter is not just a collector's treasure, It's America's heartbeat cast in copper, nickel, and silver, a timeless reminder that even in the smallest things like a quarter, the greatest stories of a nation can live forever. Have you ever held a coin in your hand and felt the weight of history, the spirit of a legend, and the story of a nation carved into metal? Today, we are diving into one of the most remarkable pieces of American numismatic art, the 2016 Theodore Roosevelt National Park Quarter. This isn't just a coin, it's a tribute to a man who changed the face of America's wilderness forever, and a symbol of how a single leader's vision could shape the land, the people, and even the money that passes through their hands from a time of industrial expansion to the age of conservation, from the roar of the Rough Riders to the quiet majesty of North Dakota's Badlands. This quarter tells the story of grit, courage, and legacy. Today, we journey through detail every curve and every meaning behind the 2016 Theodore Roosevelt quarter dollar, a story so deep, so historical, and so fascinating that by the end you will never look at a coin the same way again. The year was 2016, a year marking another milestone in the monumental America, the Beautiful Quarters program. A decade-long journey of coins that celebrated the most iconic national parks and landmarks across the United States, among them shown the Theodore Roosevelt National Park Quarter released by the United States Mint as part of the ongoing tribute to the nation's beauty and heritage. This particular coin carried with it not only the spirit of nature, but also the soul of a president who stood as one of America's greatest conservationists. Theodore Roosevelt, born in 1858 in New York City, was not just a president, he was a force of nature himself. His life was a saga of energy, determination, and love for the wild landscapes that shaped the heart of America. As a child, he was frail and sickly, but he grew into a man of strength and adventure. His years as a Rough Rider soldier and explorer forged the foundation for the legacy that would later be etched on the quarter we hold today. The Theodore Roosevelt National Park Quarter was the fourth release in 2016 and the 34th coin overall in the America the Beautiful Quarters series. It was officially launched on August 29, 2016, and honored the vast and rugged beauty of Theodore Roosevelt National Park, located in the Badlands of North Dakota. The park itself is a living museum of Roosevelt's passion for conservation. His deep connection to this land began long before his presidency. In 1883, a young Roosevelt arrived in the Dakota Territory, drawn by adventure and a desire to recover from personal tragedy. He had lost both his wife and his mother on the same day, and he sought solace in the wilderness of the Badlands. There he found not only healing, but also a calling. The frontier tested him, challenged him, and ultimately transformed him. The design of the quarter captures this transformation in a single striking image on the reverse of the coin. We see Theodore Roosevelt himself astride his horse riding through the rugged landscape of the North Dakota Badlands. This design was masterfully created by sculptor Joel Iskowitz and engraved by Phoebe Hemphill, both artists known for their ability to breathe life into metal. Roosevelt appears confident and contemplative, surveying the untamed land that would forever be linked to his name. The detail of his figure, his horse, and the winding terrain behind them represent more than just scenery. They embody the spirit of exploration, leadership, and reverence for nature. The inscriptions: Theodore Roosevelt, North Dakota, 2016, an E pluribus unum frame. The artwork uniting it with the symbols of the United States Mint's craftsmanship. On the obverse side of the coin, we see the familiar portrait of George Washington, originally designed by John Flanagan in 1932 and refined slightly to fit the America the Beautiful series. The inscriptions, United States of America Liberty, In God We Trust, and quarter dollar serve as a reminder that while each coin tells a unique story, they are all bound by the nation's enduring identity. The Theodore Roosevelt quarter was minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, and each mint mark represents a different part of the story of American coin production, with the Philadelphia Mint producing circulation strikes the Denver Mint serving collectors, and the San Francisco Mint striking proof versions that shine with mirror-like perfection. The Theodore Roosevelt quarter was not just a piece of metal, it was a symbol of the president's monumental impact on conservation during his time in office. Roosevelt established 5 national parks, 18 national monuments, 150 national forests, and 51 federal bird reservations. He protected more than 230 million acres of public land and reshaped America's relationship with its environment. His efforts laid the foundation for the National Park Service, which continues to protect the natural treasures of the United States. To this very day, the very park that bears his name stands as a living tribute to his vision, covering over 7,000 acres of land, filled with rugged cliffs, winding rivers, and diverse wildlife, from bison and elk to prairie dogs and wild horses. Every inch of the park reflects Roosevelt's dream of preserving the wild. Beauty of the American frontier collectors were quick to recognize the significance of this coin, not only for its design, but also for the historical depth it represents. The 2016 Theodore Roosevelt quarter became an instant favorite among enthusiasts. For its powerful imagery and the legacy it commemorates, uncirculated and proof versions quickly found their way into coin albums and numismatic collections around the world. The San Francisco Mint's silver proof edition struck in 90%. Silver added a touch of brilliance to an already remarkable piece of history, with a mintage of just a few million. These coins became a sought-after reminder of America's love affair with its past and its natural wonders. What makes this coin even more fascinating is the story it tells beyond the metal itself. Each curve of the design carries the echo of Roosevelt's belief that the nation's prosperity depended on balance between progress and preservation. He once said, "There can be no greater issue than that of conservation. In this lies the fundamental problem of our national life." A statement that continues to resonate more than a century later when you hold the 2016 Theodore Roosevelt quarter. You are holding that philosophy, made tangible, a miniature monument to the man who redefined the American landscape. The release ceremony for this quarter was held in Medora, North Dakota, near the entrance of the national park, and it was attended by hundreds of visitors, historians, and park rangers, all of whom came together to celebrate not just the coin, but the legacy behind it. The event featured speeches, music, and the traditional coin exchange where new quarters could be obtained directly from the U.S. Mint. It was more than a celebration of numismatics. It was a moment of pride for the state and the nation, a moment when history, art, and identity converged in the palm of a hand. As the years passed, the 2016 Theodore Roosevelt quarter continued to grow in significance, both as a collector's item and as an educational piece. Teachers, historians, and nature enthusiasts alike have used it to tell the story of a president who loved the land with all his heart, who hunted, explored, wrote, and fought to protect what he believed was the essence of America, the wild, untamed land itself. For numismatists, it became a treasure. For historians, it became a lesson. For patriots, it became a symbol. And for the American people, it became a reminder of what true leadership can achieve when it is guided by vision and integrity. So the next time you come across a 2016 Theodore Roosevelt National Park quarter, don't just see it as spare change. Look closer. See the rider in the distance, the wind across the plains, the determination in Roosevelt's posture, and remember that every coin has a heartbeat, every detail a message. This one whispers the story of courage, nature, and destiny that shaped not only a man, but a nation itself. Imagine holding in your hand not just a coin, but a story that travels through time, a story that connects a small island in the Pacific Ocean to the powerful history of the United States, a story of culture, courage, and conservation. This is not just any quarter. This is the 2020 National Park of American Samoa. Quarter, a piece of American heritage that tells the tale of the Samoan people, their traditions, and the majestic flying fox that became the symbol of their harmony with nature. Welcome to the incredible world of coins where every design carries the voice of a nation. And today, we will uncover the deep history, the hidden meanings, the minting details, and the collector secrets behind one of the most unique quarters in the entire America the Beautiful series. So sit back, relax, and get ready to explore every layer, every detail, and every story behind the 2020 American Samoa National Park quarter. The year 2020 marked one of the most remarkable moments in the United States coinage history as it continued the iconic America the Beautiful Quarters program, which had begun in 2010. The 2020 National Park of American Samoa quarter stands as the first release of that year, and it holds a design that captures not only the beauty of the park itself, but also the deep cultural and ecological story of the islands. When the United States Mint decided to honor the National Park of American Samoa, it wasn't just adding another state or territory to the list, it was paying tribute to one of the most distant and culturally rich American lands located in the heart of the South Pacific American Samoa, is home to rainforests, volcanoes, coral reefs, and a proud Polynesian heritage that has remained strong through centuries. This quarter serves as a bridge between that unique culture and the American identity. The park it represents covers approximately 13,500 acres across 3 islands, Tutuila Ofu and Ta'u, and it protects some of the most pristine tropical rainforests found in the Pacific. The design of the 2020 quarter is truly one of a kind, featuring the image of a Samoan fruit bat, also known as the flying fox. The design shows a mother bat gently cradling her pup, a touching image symbolizing the importance of family care and preservation within the Samoan culture. The choice of the bat was not random. The flying fox is a crucial species in the ecosystem. It pollinates plants, spreads seeds, and maintains the delicate balance of the rainforest environment. In American Samoa, the bat also represents the idea of guardianship and continuity, passing wisdom and life from one generation to another. Engraver Richard Masters and sculptor Phoebe Hemphill brought this design to life, creating a coin that feels alive with depth, emotion, and realism. It is one of the most detailed animal depictions in the entire quarter series. The obverse side of the coin continues with the classic portrait of George Washington, originally designed by John Flanagan in 1932, but modified by the United States Mint to suit the America the Beautiful series. The inscriptions, United States of America, Liberty and God, We Trust in Quarter Dollar, frame the image, while the reverse includes the words, National Park of American, Samoa and the year 2020, alongside the mint mark representing where the coin was struck: P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and the special W mint mark from the West Point Mint, which has become one of the most sought-after varieties. Among collectors, the National Park of American Samoa itself tells a deep story. It was established in 1988 and became the only U.S. national park located south of the equator. It protects coral reefs, rainforests, volcanic mountains, and native wildlife. Unlike any other American park, its uniqueness lies not only in its environment, but also in its management. Part of the park is leased from Samoan villages, meaning that the local communities have a strong say in its protection and upkeep. This cooperative relationship between the Park Service and the local people represents respect for Samoan culture, where land is viewed as communal and sacred rather than individual property. When collectors first received news of the 2020 quarter, designs the American Samoa quarter immediately stood out. The gentle scene of the mother and baby bat looked so different from the powerful monuments and landscapes seen in previous issues. It sparked conversation, curiosity, and admiration. It symbolized the softer side of nature, the connection between humans and animals, and the importance of protecting life even in the smallest corners of the world. This coin became even more special because it arrived at the very start of 2020, a year that would soon change the course of human history. With the global pandemic, many collectors later viewed the image of the bats with an eerie coincidence, since bats were associated with the origins of the virus. But rather than a negative symbol, this coin remained a reminder of balance, care, and coexistence between all species. From a technical perspective, the 2020 American Samoa quarter was struck in multiple compositions for circulation. It was minted in copper nickel-clad planchets, while collectors had access to special silver-proof editions made from 90% silver released in sets from the San Francisco Mint. The coin's diameter is 26 millimeters, and it weighs 5.67 grams with reeded edges. Like all quarters of its series, each mint followed strict quality control to ensure that the fine details of the bat and its pup were visible under magnification, particularly the intricate fur lines, the eye reflections, and the texture of the branches on which the bats are hanging. For collectors, the value of this quarter depends heavily on the mint mark and condition. Regular circulation strikes from Philadelphia and Denver are widely available, but coins graded in Mint State 67 and above have become desirable among numismatists. The San Francisco proof and silver proof versions are even more valuable, while the rarest and most sought after are the West Point W quarters. These were intentionally released into circulation in limited numbers as part of a special promotion by the U.S. Mint to spark public interest in coin collecting. Only 2 million of each of the 2020 designs were released with the W Mint mark, making them extremely rare finds in pocket change. The hunt for the W American Samoa quarter became a nationwide event with collectors and everyday people searching through rolls of quarters at banks, hoping to find this treasure. When we explore deeper into the artistic and cultural background, we discover that the National Park of American Samoa represents something much more profound than just a protected land. It is a living testament to the harmony between people and nature. The park preserves traditional Samoan customs such as Fa'a Samoa, meaning the Samoan way, which emphasizes respect for family community and the environment. The image of the mother bat and her pup is a perfect embodiment of that philosophy. Every aspect of the design mirrors Samoan values the nurturing relationship, the patience, the bond between generations, and the idea that every living being plays a role in the cycle of life. As the America the Beautiful series neared its end, in 2021, the 2020 quarters began. To gain even greater appreciation, they stood near the conclusion of a decade-long numismatic journey that took Americans through 56 different parks and historic sites from every state territory and the District of Columbia the American. Samoa coin symbolized a moment of reflection within that journey, reminding collectors that American heritage is not confined to the mainland. It stretches across oceans, embracing cultures that are equally part of the national identity. Experts in numismatics and design often praise the 2020 American Samoa quarter for its originality, emotional impact, and technical precision. Many have ranked it among the top designs of the entire America the Beautiful series, because of its balance between simplicity and storytelling. The way the mother bat cradles her pup in a near-human expression of love has been cited as one of the most heart-touching depictions in modern coinage. It demonstrates how art can transcend metal, turning a coin into a message of compassion and care. When you look at the long history of U.S. quarters beginning from the Washington series of 1932 through the state quarters and later the America the Beautiful series, this coin marks a milestone. It captures a time when coin design was no longer just about landmarks and monuments, but about living creatures and emotional connections. The American Samoa quarter became a symbol of unity during a time of global challenge, and for collectors around the world, it remains a treasure that embodies resilience, beauty, and heritage. Even today, when someone holds the 2020 National Park of American Samoa quarter, they hold a conversation piece, a lesson in ecology, art, and humanity, combined in a small but powerful circle of metal. It reminds us of the importance of preservation, the beauty of nature, and the shared history that binds all people across the United States and its territories together. This coin is not just a collectible, it is a story that will continue to live for generations to come.